Up repeating myself a couple of times, but today I have a couple more props with me. So I've got a blanket, I've got a block. I'm hoping that we'll be doing a squat. So if you know that that's not good for your knees or ankles, then the block can be nice for that, or you can get a stool or a chair. We might also end up doing legs up the wall. And so if you know that you don't like to put your legs up the wall, or if there's just no great space for you to do it in your space, then you can also use a chair and just kind of hook your legs over the end for that as well. So lots of options if you want to grab your stuff and get your space ready before we begin. Oh, and another thought too is there's the chat there if you ever want to drop a comment in there. I'm not so great about seeing it while I'm on the mat, but I do check it before I sign off. So if you have any questions or concerns and you don't feel comfortable coming on the microphone, then that's another option for you as well.
Good morning.
Good morning, Olga.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's raining here, so it was quite difficult to get up this morning. I don't know if anyone else had that, but I slept very deep. Hi, Katie. All right, well, it's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good morning and welcome. For anyone who's just joining me, I want to point out my props really quickly. I have a block with me and a blanket. If you don't have those things at home, that's okay. You could sub a blanket in with a towel, or a block could be a stack of books or something, but it's not completely necessary. We might use it for a squat. If you know you like support in that, you could also use a chair. And I think that we're going to end up doing legs up the wall. So if you don't have a space that's really conducive to that, you can also use a chair for that and just hook your knees over and still get your legs above your heart for that inversion. But today, I thought that we would start on our backs. So if you want to go ahead and roll down, you can separate the feet and let the knees fall together for constructive rest. And your choice of where you put the arms, it can be nice to place them on the heart and the belly, or you could leave them on either side of the body. And while you're here, I'm gonna welcome you to leave the eyes open and to take in the room this morning from this different orientation. And if you want to, you could roll the head slowly from one side to the other. Just notice how your eyes relate to that, how it changes your view, what comes into sight, what's just at the corner of your vision, what's in the center. Could notice if the eyes skip in front of the movement and lead it, or if they follow it. Just asking the question, how does my sight relate to my movement? And when you're ready, you can let the head come back to center. And open up the ears and notice what sounds you hear this morning. I mentioned over here I can hear the rain. Maybe there's some sounds of your house or apartment. And then move to what you're feeling, how you're connected to the floor, maybe an awareness of pressure or temperature, or a sense of the skin. And then notice if you smell anything. Is it from something close by or far away? And finally, what do you taste? And feel free to either start to connect with your breath right now or move back to one of the senses that was particularly interesting to you. Today, the yama that we are talking about is Bramacharya, which is the moderation of the senses. I'm going to share with you a reflection by Rolf Sovik. He writes, literally, Bramacharya translates as walking in God consciousness. Practically speaking, this means that Bramacharya turns the mind inward, balances the senses, and leads to freedom from dependency and cravings. Yogis tell us that when the mind is freed from domination by the senses, sensory pleasures are replaced by inner joy. The term Bramacharya is sometimes identified with celibacy, but while the preservation of vital energy through moderation and sexual activity is part of Bramacharya, this is a narrow view of the practice. In Vedic culture, the word Bramacharya denoted the first of 4 stages of life, that of the student. In this stage, the aspirant spent all his time with a spiritual teacher, and that was quite naturally a celibate time. The word also refers to a vow of celibacy taken by a sannyasi or a renunciate. However, in the context of the yamas, Bramacharya refers to the middle path of restraint. Both overindulgence and repression can deplete your vital force. Both can leave you insecure and anxious. The middle path allows you to enjoy the control of your senses rather than letting the uncontrolled senses spoil your enjoyment of life. So we're gonna relate to our senses quite a bit today as we move. I wanna talk about a couple of ideas as a way to kind of toggle between your senses. And the first is exteroception. So that's what's happening outside of you, what's happening in the environment and how you perceive it. We also have proprioceptors, which tell us where we are in space. And then there's interoception as well, which is physical sensation in the body. So maybe you feel your breath, you feel your heartbeat. Those are examples of interoception. So I just welcome you today to, when you have a sensation, notice what information it's giving you, if it's coming from outside or from within, and how you relate to it. So we'll stay on our backs, and you can draw your right knee into your chest and give it a squeeze. Maybe very consciously noticing the shape of the body, where you are in space. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And you could start to press your right thigh away with your left hand if you like. Or you could interlace the hands around the left thigh and draw the legs in this figure 4 closer to the body. You might be sensing into the stretch in the hip. You could scan to see if you're holding any extra tension in the jaw, the back of the neck, the ribs. And through awareness, invite it to soften. If you want to explore the shape a little more dynamically, you could rock side to side and even reconnect with that exercise we did with moving the head and noticing the eyes, how vision relates to the movement. Bring the left foot back to the floor, uncross the right ankle, both feet on the floor. Go to the other side, left ankle over right thigh. And taking your variation of the shape, whether that's leaving the foot on the floor or bringing the legs closer to the body. Notice how your breath responds to the shape, where you feel the breath in your body. And then an option to rock a little bit if that's interesting to you. Let the right foot meet the floor again. Left foot joins. Just feel your connection with the floor one more time. Taking in this orientation. And we're going to make our way to hands and knees, but as you do so, stay connected to that sense of orientation as it shifts. I'm going to grab a blanket for my knees. And here you're welcome to come to hands and knees with the hands under the shoulders. Or if you'd like, you could come down onto your forearms, bringing that elbow underneath the shoulder. And with your breath, just start to find some cat-cows. Inhaling, lifting the gaze, opening the chest, and exhaling, rolling back, dropping the head. Again, noticing what needs to be engaged, what brings me into these shapes. How do I get leverage from the floor? Find your tabletop again. And this time we will reach the right arm up toward the sky, finding a twist. And with an exhale, you can thread that arm underneath the left arm, coming onto your shoulder. Letting the head rest in a place that feels comfortable for you. And with an inhale, reach up, twist back to the right, and bring the right hand under the shoulder. We'll take the other side, reaching up, and then threading under the right arm now to twist, coming onto that left shoulder. Maybe resting on the left temple, finding the right degree of twist in the neck for your cervical spine. Soften in the ribs. Maybe invite the tailbone to pull away from the crown of the head to create length in the spine. Lengthen as you lift out of the shape, reach up toward the ceiling again, and come back to hands and knees. From here, you might want to grab your block. And I'm going to go ahead and sit on mine. Bring the feet kind of wide. And let the toes come out to the sides a little bit. If you'd prefer to find a squat without the block, that's an option too. Or you can take a seat in a chair and just let the legs be wide like this. Go ahead and bring your elbows inside your thighs, hands pressing together in prayer. Lengthen the spine, encouraging the tailbone to begin to think about dropping down toward the floor. Breathing here and noticing what you notice. What's really activating right now? Is it your proprioception, your interoceptors? Is there something outside of you that you're connecting to and noticing? Stay with your breath. Release the hands to the floor. Spin the toes so that the feet are parallel. And drop your head, release your neck for a forward fold. Might open the eyes and just notice what the world looks like upside down. Connect to the feet and start to roll up. I'm leaving my feet a little bit wider than my hips. Go ahead and reach the arms up. You can let them meet above the head if that feels okay to your shoulders, or let them stay parallel. With an exhale, let the right hand drop down, reach up through the left, and lean over, finding a nice line all the way from that outer edge of your left foot through the torso, up along that left arm to the fingertips. Still breathing. And come back to center. And we'll take the other side, pressing now into that outer edge of your right foot. Maybe softening in the shoulders. Sensing where the ribs are in space. Is there a way that they can move or adjust that makes this feel more easeful, more easy to breathe? Let's just flow a couple of times with the breath. Swing one side and then the other. Maybe again, connecting to sights, to sounds. How your orientation shapes your sensual experience. And go ahead and release that, and let's just sway one side and then the other. And go ahead and find your center again. You could bring the feet close together. We'll make our way to a tree. So you could start to bend that right knee, come onto the ball of the foot, spin the foot, that knee out to the side. And then either let the sole of the foot stay there, connect to the calf, or go above the knee and connect with the thigh. Sensing into that pressure, moving toward the midline. If you feel stable this morning, can drawing attention toward the midline, moving in and then maybe drawing up a little bit, rooting down in the foot. When you're ready, release the foot to the ground. If you want to roll out that standing legs ankle, feel free to do so. And we'll take tree on the other side. Again, different options, either leaving the foot on the ground, bringing it to the calf, or all the way up to the thigh, just avoiding the knee. Maybe finding a drishti, a point of focus. You could experiment with closing the eyes. Whoop, I just did that. And notice if you can maintain your balance with the eyes closed. And then go ahead and let that experiment go. And we will come to a seat for our final practice of stillness. And actually, I'm going to give you two options here. You can either find a seat or you can bring legs up the wall. So if you'd like to do legs up the wall, what I like to do is scoot a hip right up next to the wall, and then I'll lean away from the wall, coming onto my hands, drop a shoulder down, and then let the hips and the weight of the hips just naturally kick my feet up. And again, if you don't have a good space to do that on your wall, you could also kick the feet up on a chair, and it would just kind of look like this. Like I've got my thigh bones coming down, and they are perpendicular with the floor, and the shins are parallel with the floor. So take your time, find the shape that feels right for you. And once you're there, sense into the shape of the body and know the shape that you are making. Know how the shoulder relates to the feet, how the spine relates to the head and the hips. And notice, maybe take inventory for a moment throughout this practice. What sense or place where you put your awareness, what was most grounding to you? Was it connecting with sight or sound? Something that was happening maybe outside of you, connecting with your environment through exteroception? Was it understanding the shape that you're making, how the body is relating to itself and its environment through proprioception, or if it was connecting to your breath and your heartbeat, or the sensation of muscles firing up? Whatever rings true for you, maybe connect to that now and let that be the grounding force of your meditation this morning. I'll leave you with about 5 minutes of silence to explore that. Notice what you notice about this moment. If maybe your thoughts have returned, you could check back in with the body and see if there are any parts that have picked up some tension. Invite them to soften. Connect to the sense that grounds you. You're welcome to stay where you are or begin to find a seat if you're not there already. Either way, I'll welcome you to bring the hands over the heart or seal the practice in prayer. This morning, acknowledging that when we relate to our senses, understand them, that they can become a resource of calm, of grounding. So I'll take a breath together, inhaling and exhaling. Thank you for sharing your practice today. Peace and namaste.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Thank you. Nice to see you, Olga.
See you all too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jessie. I'll see you Wednesday.
Okay, looking forward to it, Mary Beth. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Hi, Cece.
Hi, Jessie. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you this morning.
Nice to see you too. I sent you an email.
Oh, I'll take a look.
I'm doing Insight Timers 25-day or Chris 30-day. So the meditation was really nice this morning, and I thought you'd maybe enjoy it.
Oh, thank you. I would love to take a look.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.